Hi, fifth grade. I am recording this video for you as a distance learning tool. I can't sit in front of you and do a regular lesson as I would, so it is kind of cool that I have this technology available while we're away from each other. This week's lessons in reading are going to be about basically, can you determine what point the author is making? And did they supply valid reasons and solid evidence? Did they give you the facts to back what they're trying to get you to believe? So I found this really awesome resource from Clarendon Learning, and I'm going to use it to guide this lesson today. There's a really cool thing called Screencast that I'm using that you can actually see me and hear me, but you can also see what I see. So I'm going to use this tool, and I'm hoping it'll give you some guidance for the passages that you've been given this week. There's one about snakes, there's one about using plastic bags, there's one about washing your hands, which is very appropriate for the time we're living in. So hopefully this will help give you and even your parents who are probably having a really interesting time trying to homeschool you, and maybe if you have brothers or sisters, get everything together. So not only is this me reading it and giving my little take on it, it's right here. You can pause the video as many times as you want, and this is meant to be a tool for you and kind of like a lesson without being in front of me. So here goes nothing. Reasons and evidence. You are reading text from an article, the internet, or a book, and the author makes several points related to a topic that has your interest. How do you know the points the author makes can be supported? Or imagine a friend runs up to you and tells you about a new movie she wants to see this weekend. She says, "Hey, let's go see this great movie that's coming out Friday. Do you want to go?" You think about it. However, you need more information. The information you need would support your friend's opinion of the movie being great. You need evidence or facts. Like your friend, an author will include various points related to a topic, but the reasons or ideas and evidence or facts must support those points. As you read nonfiction text, you will need to identify the author's point and the supporting reasons and evidence. So, is there like an underlying reason that the author wrote that book? Are they trying to convince you to save the sea turtles or not to pollute, or what are they really trying? Yes, nonfiction is factual books. It's a book or a text that wants to give you real information, but you got to be able to kind of assess for yourself. Is there a reason behind it? Are they really trying to convince me of something? Do they just want me to know about cheese or whatever it might be? So many young people would love to have a pet. The boy or girl claims it is a great idea to have a dog. So they try to convince their parents using reasons and evidence. Remember, the facts to back. So a dog would be great to have a pet. That's the claim. That's the point they're trying to make. So this is the point, and it has to be supported by reasons and evidence. So the reason is it's here on the left. They're saying, well, a dog's going to teach me responsibility. And then what other facts or evidence are there to back that really a dog would be great to have? Well, they can chase away rodents and other pests. Dogs can help protect a home and can be a friendly companion. If you're like my dogs, they can bark all day long. With this distance learning, I hear a lot of barking. Sorry, that really wouldn't convince any parent, would it? So, this point is backed up with a good reason. It's got some solid evidence or facts, and authors who make points in their writing will usually back them up with good reasons and solid evidence too. By explaining how the author uses reasons and evidence to support particular points in a text, you will better comprehend and understand the information. In addition, you will not only learn more about the topic, but you can better express your own opinion and points related to the topic and the information that's presented. You can explore other ideas and back up your own points using facts and evidence. Eventually, you can create a reasonable argument too. So if you are going to go to your principal and say, "Hey, we need more recess. 30 minutes after lunch doesn't usually end up being 30 minutes, and it is not enough time for us." You're not going to go to your principal and just say, "Hey, we think this should happen. Can you do it for us?" Your principal might say, "So what reasons do you have? How can you support that? What evidence do you have to get me to think about, giving you an extra recess or extending your recess?" That's where you have to get really good at making yourself heard But I hate to say it, but you got to sound like you know what you're talking about. So you might bring up to the principal that studies show kids aren't getting enough exercise, there's an obesity epidemic, and we need to make sure we're moving. Fresh air is good for our brains. Studies show the more recess, the better, you can think, and everybody needs a study break here and there. Whatever points you'd want to do, this is that opportunity for you to use that. And then what if your principal actually was like, you have a point. Let's add a 15-minute recess in the morning. Who knows? All right, let's continue to the next page. And it really is a sensitive topic for a lot of parents and kids. And it's children and cell phones. I wonder what this author wants us to believe. In the United States, about 45% of children between the ages of 10 and 12 have a smartphone. However, it is not a good thing for young people to have their own phone. The use of a cell phone by young children may lead to a variety of problems. The excessive use of the phone has decreased children's interaction with other children and people. The frequent use of the phone often involves children becoming less active, and it can lead to issues related to sleeping and other health problems. Many young people with phones may become addicted to its use. I know I struggle with addiction right now through this distance learning. I got my phone by my side all the time. Cell phones may be smart, but they're not a smart idea for young children. See what they did there? Like that play on words? I did. So basically now you have to look, and that's just a simple paragraph. So this is a pretty easy example. What's the author's main point? Hopefully you were able to determine that really they're trying to convince you or anybody who reads this that it is not a good idea or a good thing for young people to have their own phone. You're like, what? Well, the reason. The use of a cell phone, they're saying, by young children may lead to a variety of problems. Now, they're using the reason it could cause problems, but then you might say, oh, yeah, well, what problems are you talking about? Then the author actually gives you the facts to back. They give you some evidence, some specific examples of problems that might occur. They're saying it has increased children's interaction with other children and people. Evidence piece number one. Evidence piece number two, children become less active and it can lead to issues related to sleep. And then the third piece of evidence that they provided is young people with phones may become addicted to its use. So, in summation, this person says, starting from the beginning, the main point is the claim that the author's making, and in this case it's regarding cell phones and children. The reason he believes it's not a good thing is that it can lead to a variety of problems. And then finally, he basically gives the facts. He gives specific examples of the problems to support the claim or the main point that it is not a good thing for young people to have their own phone. So I'll be honest with you, not that, I have mixed feelings about it. I can see the benefit, but I can also see that this author does have a point. So whether I agree with it or not isn't really important here. What's important is, as I evaluate this article as a critical reader, my point is, did they make the good point? Did they convince me? Did I read that and go, they got a point there? And if I did, they probably did a really good job of giving you some reasons and evidence. So I'm going to move on to the next little part of this lesson, kind of wrapping it up like a little present. Of course, authors will usually include more than one point as part of the text, and each point will need to be supported by reasons and evidence. If the point can't be supported, it can then be determined that the author has a weak point or argument. In short, the reasons and evidence the author uses is the why he or she makes the point. So I'm going to give you a minute. You can pause the video to think. But I want to kind of throw this out there. What opinion do you have about something in society that is often difficult to support with reasons and evidence, and why? Now, society meaning like what in the real world, what out in life that people wrestle with or deal with? What's something that's often difficult to support? If that's a challenge, then maybe what is just something in society that you have to support with reasons and evidence? And I'm going to give you just a second. You can pause the video. Okay. So, it's probably not difficult to support with reasons and evidence, but maybe you come up with a strong feeling about this quarantine, about this social distancing. Maybe you have some feelings about that. What reasons Do you have to support, like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What do you think about it? And then if you give your strong opinion, then you have to make sure you give valid reasons, and you got to give some facts to back. You might have to use the internet for that, which leads us to the writing prompt over here. Now, it says your article and your partner's article, and we obviously can't do that in this situation, but you could run this by a parent. I would work with a parent, or work if they have time, or work with a bigger brother or sister, or could you FaceTime, or could you message a friend? But I want you to think about a short article in your own words. You're the author, and you have to include your main point. What reasons do you have to support it? And what evidence do you have to back it up? What facts to back? So what I'd like to see you do is, I'm going to upload this right this week. We do have the writing prompt about cell phones in school. So it's not necessarily children and cell phones, but it should they be allowed in school. You can pick that. You can pick something else. But I'd like you to write something down, type it up, and I'd like you to submit it on the Google Classrooms. Or you could have your parent email it to me, or you could share it with me on a Google Doc, or whatever format. If you have questions or problems, just kind of reach on out. But I know that your teachers, if you're using this from another classroom, would like to hear what you have to say. So that's the challenge. I'm going to issue a throwdown. Convince me to think of something differently. This can be a one day. This can be something that you do a little every day. I'm not asking for a 9-page story about this. So just take some time, think about something, mess around on the internet a little bit, give you a chance to surf the web. That's what they used to call it. Anyway, until we meet again, happy learning. I hope this is helpful, and I will see you out there in virtual land real soon.